So I decided to create a video combining all the unused shots from scene 2, which I didn't end up putting into the final cut. This really helped me decide which ones to include and which ones not to, as by giving a reason to not using a shot, it reminds you why you didn't want to use it, basically. I did this last year and I felt it was really beneficial, so I'm doing it again. I didn't end up using this shot purely because I couldn't actually walk fast enough to film them, and the shot ended up being quite shaky and didn't really capture the effect that I wanted to. This shot was absolutely fine, but the only problem was I'd filmed too high up on their faces, so it just didn't really look aesthetically pleasing. And also, again, they were walking too fast for me to catch up. This is a problem with my directing, not with the actual actors themselves. The only thing that I didn't really like about this shot was the fact that Grace and Nick had stood so far back that the camera was mostly not focused on them, and also when they did arrive the camera wasn't positioned well enough to film them both. Also, another thing wrong with this shot is at the end Grace messed up her line, so she started laughing, but other than this I quite liked the shot. I just didn't end up using it. This shot of Charlotte walking didn't end up being used purely because she was too far back at the start, which meant she'd have to run a long time to get to Grace and Nick. I didn't end up using this take because at the beginning they said their line too early, which meant that there was a really awkward pause where Charlotte had to run to Grace. And it just looked really unnatural. I did really want to include this shot of Grace, however it didn't really flow into the sequence properly, and I felt that the shot reverse shot conversation worked better on Charlotte's reactions instead of Grace's, so I didn't end up using this. Now, I did actually end up using this shot, however I had to crop it because slightly near the end Nick almost looks pretty much directly at the camera, which made it look quite non-professional. As you can see here, he almost looks directly at the camera, so I had to crop it, but that was fine.